It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, beginning at verse 1, and it reads, Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Hakadosh B'Kadam. I want to say double honors to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua. I thought they listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sop, and I'm coming at you another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. This lesson is inspired by a video that the elder Yahshua from Dallas did. I believe is titled "Stand Now with Thine Enchantments," roughly paraphrased. And I listened to it again today. I've been trying to get in the habit of listening to certain videos more than once because, you know, the more you listen to something, the more you get out of it. Finally just got through the elders camp this week. I'm trying to watch that again for the week over with before I go out there, because it inspired me that, you know, I know what I want to go in, or the topic I want to go in on at camp when I go camp, Lord willing. So Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1 says, Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees. Who passes laws in this place known as Babylon the Great, aka America? Who has the power to pass laws? You know, unfair laws at that. The scriptures talk about, well, not the scriptures, but it's the same. The devil say, their pen is mightier than your sword. Now, this devil's given the power, to kill with the sword, but he also kills with with that pen, because like I said again, he'll come up with unrighteous decrees, unfair legislation, which, like right now, a lot of brothers been going into that legislation they just passed about giving the military the ability to pretty much take out civilians, which is pretty much unheard of. That, but they're doing all kind of unprecedented things right now, and you got individuals looking at us like we're crazy. I was talking to my sister. Not to digress, make it quick. I know I could I could talk what I want to. But like the elder said, that's be the spirit too. When you go longer. At the end of the day, I talked to my sister in like 9 years, and out the blue, I was talking to my dad. I spoke with my dad out the blue. My sister called talking about leave something on his on the website, pretty much through the funeral home that he was buried through. And I'm like, what the fuck, But pretty much I believe she thinks I'm crazy. You know what I mean? And I'm hitting her with the reason why I wasn't going to leave anything. But I did. I left something through the scriptures. I mean, Salakia. I left something through the scriptures. Through the spirit, I left scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And one of them was that Amos chapter 4. Israel, prepare thyself to meet thy God. We in the time of the Lord about to come back. It may not be this year, but the Lord visiting the earth through these judgments that He has going out pretty much every day, like the elder Hawad from North Carolina said. He said each day is getting worse, or worse. If worser is even a word. So, Salaki, I know I'm all over the place, but I'm gonna get this real quick too, and then I'm gonna go into the video. Now, I'm gonna say beforehand, fair use, fair use. I know I'm using the elder's video, but just to make it safe, I don't think the elder will purposely flag it, but at the same time, YouTube doing what I notice is they look like they letting everybody just put whatever, because they about to come persecuting everybody. You know what I mean? Like scriptures say, at least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, which I had on deck, and through the spirit I just brought it out. I'm gonna reread it again. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11, and it reads, least Shantan, or least Satan, should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And I forget the Greek word, but pretty much it means his thoughts, his plans, his plots, his schemes. Because you got to understand, this NWO was a whole plot by these devils, the elite of Esau Edom. And pretty much they're trying to create a system where they believe they're gods, they omnipotent. And what a fucked up system it would be. They want to pretty much stop all rebellion, That's what this is about. They about to pretty much try and exterminate anybody that's gonna rebel, and then they're gonna try and raise up your children. Because the scriptures talk about raise up a child in the way they should go. And it's spiritual because just yesterday, my children in the state of Ohio, they got a law where if it's an emergency, they can keep your kids if they're in any public school. And I knew about the law, what I mean? But through the spirit, I just went ahead and did it because I had to realize I can't control what the Lord gonna do. You know, and if the Lord really got it meant for you to be saved or them to be saved, He gonna save them. You know what I mean? I mean, it was all kind of spirits jumping on them. They doing a little retarded shit. It was just like, and I was at my wits' end. You know, um, but at the end of the day, scriptures talk about you can't do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Everything is set up perfectly. The elder I was listening to, the elder Big Yak, Elder Yakia. He was going into how like everything that the Lord created pretty much is made perfectly. If He made something wicked, He made that wickedness in perfection. Everything's going to do the will of the Lord for the purpose He set it up to do. But Salaki, again, I'm all over the place a little bit. So I'm gonna read this Psalms 94 and then jump into the video. It says Psalms 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? So that's one of the blessings that this devil got, because this devil got dominion, rulership, you know what I mean? Which was a blessing given to him. He didn't get it himself; it was given to him. Because the Lord pretty much made Esau Edom to be His sword. And the scriptures tell you that pretty much Esau Edom will be ruling the world at the end. That's why the scriptures talk about in the Apocrypha Esau Edom being the end of the world, and Jacob being basically the one that followed, roughly paraphrased. I don't feel like getting it, but Jacob's hand held fast on Esau's heel, because Esau is at the end of the world. And you can clearly see with what this devil's doing that his time is short. That's why the scriptures talk about in Revelation 12 and 12, devil coming out with great wrath because he know that he have but a short time. And like the elder Yahshua was saying, pandemonium, all demons. You know what I mean? All demons. Like I say, you about to see some shit you've never imagined being able to see. You know what I mean? Like these things that people talk about, or some shit you saw in a movie. I remember the brother Thamyaya pretty much said he was pretty much saw an accident on the freeway, and the car was on fire. I believe he said the car pretty much flew over his car. He had to punch it to you know what I mean? Like I was like, damn, that's like some spiritual like the Lord really just like was like literally like gave, because that had to give him like a spiritual like adrenaline boost because the Lord was with you. You know. But anyhow, so I'm gonna play this fair use, and this is just showing you what's in store for Babylon the Great, aka America. Because what's that dude Klaus Schwab said? That devil, he said, China or Moab is the model that they want for the world.
In Daniel the 12th chapter. Right, the time of the end, and then the first verse it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. All right, so things are going to be so crazy, right, that the Lord, of course, we know Yahweh Shai is at the forefront of this, but there's angels under Yahweh Shai who have jobs, all right, and orders and rank as well. Okay, and Michael, all right, is right under Yahweh Shai. Okay, it's going to be so bad. The great prince was standing for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, all right, such as never was since there was a nation, even unto them, even unto the same time. And you see Donald Trump, all right, is waging war on the northern tribes. They're going to wage war on all of the tribes. They're going to wage war on you Americans, period. All right, but all of the tribes, as you can see, are now becoming an enemy of the state with this whole immigration, crisis. All right, and when it's all said and done, they're going to wage war. It's going to be crazy. Okay, they're going to use artificial intelligence to police the world, meaning AI will be able to seek you out. If you believe in something that goes against them, if you think something that goes against them, you will be sought out. Okay, this is what this AI, because it's artificial wisdom at the end of the day, and they're boasting that it's higher intelligence than what the Most High created. You see, so things are gonna be so bad, and at that time, like, people should be delivered. So what's gonna be happening on the earth that's going to lead to the Most High having to protect us by divine intervention? Is going to be stuff like this. Let's give an example of what this AI, what they got planned, what's going on in China.
First thing we see here is an array of cameras that listen to you and watch you. These are the facial recognition systems. Now, cities are starting to be set up where they have points of entry for regions within cities. And you have to use your iPhone device to beep your way in. And the pad on the top there shows your face. It's facial recognition. So it opens the doors and things like that for you if it matches your face or if you don't have any problems. But if you are wanted by the police or something, these will lock you in so you can't move from region to region. Or if you use too much carbon, as you can see, this woman takes off her glasses, and that little device that looks like an iPhone, but it's actually a retina scanner or a facial scanner.
Too much carbon. You eat too much meat. You went over the limit for this month. Now they're able to tax you. Now they're able to police you. Okay, your carbon footprint will be tied, all right, to your digital mark.
Going into unrighteous decrees, frame of mischief by law. You know what I mean? Like,
this is the world they're setting up. Okay, and they're gradually leading it.
and what did Alex Jones say? Total control. Yeah, because they're trying to play the Most High God on earth. What is the statements these devils saying? We are the gods. It ain't coincidence that you had, like I said again, all those hurricanes, mega hurricanes and tempests and whatnot, and then you turn around and at the same time you got Wyoming on fire. Just like kind of how Hawaii was.
Picks up your face.
Now this is a 15-minute city in China. Now aren't they talking about building 15-minute cities here in America? Absolutely they are.
Then it'll let you through. And then here's an example of how that works. You're at the gate here, it scanned his face, and then there you go, it opens the gate. Now within the cities, they're blocked off by region, and these fences right here separate those areas. There's police, as you can see in front, that monitor and guard these areas between points. So if I'm over here where this guy is like region 1, region 2 is over here, right? But I have to go through a checkpoint. Now, of course, the police officers have these glasses that are facial recognition glasses. So it'll read license plates, and when you see somebody right here, it'll recognize the face and pull up their information. And so a cop can just sit there and look at a population and determine if they're good, bad, have warrants against the government, blah, 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 just like this officer's doing. Now, of course, this is where a camera can identify you by your gait or by the way you walk. This determines how a person walks, and they can set up a profile based on the way you move and walk with your facial recognition, meaning you can be watched at all points. So this guy right here, I'll spare you the details, but basically what it is he's reading this, and he can't travel on high-speed rail because his credit score, his social credit score is so low. So what he had to do is volunteer and do a bunch of other to raise his social credit score. So he was going to take a trip that would take 3 hours on a high-speed rail, but because his social credit score was too low, he had to take a bus, which took 10 hours. But then coming up here, he donated and did charity work, and now he says at the end he can live like a real person. And then here's footage of the grocery store in Canada. They've put these cameras, these facial recognition cameras, in the grocery store to determine what you're buying and if it's good for the environment or not, as far as I can tell. I think we should stop.
And you don't think they're flirting with this kind of technology over here in the States, you're sadly mistaken.
I mean, they already discussing about 15-minute cities. I believe they said Bill Gates is going to make a city that was in Florida, one of the areas that got hit with the tornadoes, the first 15-minute city. Now I remember the elder Watazak of Ancient of Days, the head of that camp, was going into how it was a city over in California that they wanted to make the first 15-minute city. So, you know what I mean? You know, I believe they said that they want to make Cleveland a first 15-minute city. So these things are here and in your face, you know what I mean, for those that can actually see, have been blessed with that spiritual eye salve. And, you know, like I said, I made mention of my sister, you know what I mean? But, you know, and at first it do bother you a little bit, you know what I mean? When people, you know, I remember, well, I ain't gonna go into detail, but, you know, like brother was talking about how certain people from the world, you know, the Lord would, like that was his trial, you know, he, you know, people know him from the world from a certain kind of way. And pretty much, you know, they kind of torment him, you know, because of the fact of who he was in the world. And now, you know, he in the truth, and, you know, but that's his lot, you know what I mean? Yeah. We all got lots, you know what I mean? You know, at first I couldn't recognize, I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? The Lord tried me through certain brothers, you know what I mean? That could actually have fucked up a person's individual's faith. So the water Yahweh that my faith has still endured, you know. You know. And like, you know, you got all this bug out shit going on. You got so much prophecy speaking. Why, you know, sit up there and dwell on, you know, some carnal, fleshly, he say, she say, he wrong me, she wrong me, they wrong me type shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai gonna sort it out anyway. Again, I wish every brother that pretty much because you gotta remember, I didn't get kicked out. I left. You know, so like, yeah, I didn't leave the truth. I left the cap because I felt it was bothering. It's a battle for my salvation. You know what I mean? You know, like at the end of the day, and I'm probably gonna try not to speak on this no more. Because at the end of the day, there's so many other things to speak on, like prophecy. But I wish every believer, you know, every brother that I actually was on the battlefield with, you know, because I know them brothers believe. I pray that we all of the hopeful elect and we all on the chariot. You know, if it's the Lord's will, you know, we'll see each other on this side. And if it's not the Lord's will, Lord willing, we see each other on the chariots. Because this shit about to go down, you know what I mean? Like in this video, the elder going to, you know, which that was floating through social media about the Harvard graduate pretty much was able to go and wear the glasses and tell where the fuck you stayed at and all that. And like the elder said, if this little college graduate guy or college student could go do this, what technology you think Esau, Edom, the government, and these elites are unleashing? You know what I mean? So, with that being said, you know, basically this whole system was set up as a trap and a snare. The elder brought that out. So, you know, it's the book of Psalm chapter 124, starting at verse 1, and it reads, a song of degrees of David. If it had not been the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us. You know, to kindle is to burn, you know. So when they wrath, you know, and we were swallowed up. Again, you know, when you take time to think about like our whole identity as a people, you know, the people of the scriptures, you know, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, you know, God's true chosen people, you know, you were swallowed up because even we didn't know who we were, you know. It took for the Lord pretty much to bless us, you know, and open our minds to this truth. Because pretty much we sinned against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Verse 4, then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul, and the waters represent Esau, Edom. Then the proud waters, you know, the scripture going to Esau, Edom being proud, or the pride of his heart, have deceived thee. Yeah, because this devil really think the Lord dealing with him, not realizing that the Lord is using you, you know. It tells you in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus that all things obey the will of the Lord. And what's that? Isaiah chapter 45. I was listening to the elder Yakia talk about what's that? Isaiah 45:7. I create the good. I create the light and in the dark. I create good and evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. And I believe it's in Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 33. Most High God said, I made two against two, or one against one, rather. He basically made one contrary to the other. Then the proud waters had gone over our soul. Blessed be the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Yahweh being He is, He exists, or He to be, who have Yahweh being He is, He exists, He to be. Ba'ashem meaning in the name. Yahweh Shai meaning He save, or He deliver. The true names of the Most High God and the Son, who you ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. It says, blessed be the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, who have not given us as a prey to their teeth. Because we're not completely destroyed, it's a remnant. The remnant is pretty much coming back into this truth. We was over here lost and destroyed. And, the scriptures talk about the valley of the dry bones. But what gave us, what gave us life again? What's that in John chapter 6? Let's say the word quickeneth. When you go on that word quickeneth, it means to make alive. So these scriptures, this truth is what resurrected us, what gave us life again. Verse 7, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped. And what's a fowler? It's a person that basically catches birds, which represents Esau, Edom in this instance. Because when you look at what Babylon the Great is, look at the system that they set in place. Everything is convenience. When you really take the time to think about it, a lot of people is going to actually get that seed. I could see more Edomites bucking up to it than, you know what I mean? And like the elder said, them Edomites might be Jakes. But you're just going to have Edomites, period, just because simple fact, the scriptures say in Isaiah 19:19, so like in 19:2, the Egyptian versus Egyptian. Esau, Edom thinking that this America, and that's why, Trump really got he's going to set that shit off. And they already kind of telegraphed it with the whole January 6th shit. How it's all set up. It's staged. This nigga literally caused an insurrection. But then, like I said, it's so many scenarios they can play with it because you have to take some time to think about it. Pretty much if he caused an insurrection, which they saying he did, but then they saying that he didn't, they can pretty much make the election null and void. And either way it go, both sides gonna be upset, and people, you already got all kinds of things taking place, you know what I mean? So, like the book of Psalms 119 says, and what's that, 129? It's time for thee to work because they have made void thy law. Scriptures talk about the constant iniquity, is sin upon sin. Because of the iniquity, what it say? They basically it shall wax cold. I'm butchering this, like it. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped. Because once we got this truth, we escaped. And that's the spirit, because it made me think of Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10. Our help is in the name of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, who've made heaven and earth. And what's Proverbs 18:10? It says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. So we escaped from this devil, by the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua when he gave us the name. We're not shackled mentally anymore. We're not just niggas in America or, Americans. We know we are so much more. We understand. You know how powerful it is to understand why you in this low condition? That actually gives you the ability to actually, it gives you the comfort to deal with certain shit. And I pray that the Lord put the spirit on me to endure it to the very end. I'm not going to say like with no pride, like, oh, the Lord doing this because of me and none of that shit. I found it funny, like, damn, Lord, what did I do? Because I was, I could say and justify why I did what I did, you know what I mean? But to be truthful, you know what I mean? Like, literally, you don't want to have no leaven towards no brethren. You know what I mean? Like, real talk, but it was funny because I'm like, damn, hold up. All this shit, like, it seemed like prophecy just started turning up once I left. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So, At the end of the day, you know, I pray, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, everything is the will of the Lord anyway, you know what I mean? Just like this, you know, like the Lord actually set it up, you know, because you got to think about it. You know, we had to see both sides, you know, we had to pretty much be put in this low condition so we could actually appreciate and and cherish, you know, the kingdom. Like the elder Tazapah said, he said, Lord, I don't never want to sin again. You know what I'm saying? Being brought down this fucking low. And that's the cold part about it. Like, that's some humbling. You know, like the elder Yahshua was saying, Yahweh came in such a meek spirit because he knew his future. He knew he had to be the ultimate sacrifice. And then just imagine you got power. You get what I'm saying? You know, you see a nigga like Floyd Mayweather, who is talented and gifted, but I can't stand Mayweather. I respect him, but I can't stand him. You know what I mean? You know, me and the brother was talking about old school boxers like Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard was considered like a nice guy, but he wasn't a nice guy in the ring. He would fuck you up, but he wasn't like an asshole talking shit. That's like one of my favorite boxers. You get what I'm saying? And him and the, you know, the guys he would fight, them was wars. You know, it wasn't all that, you know, but not to digress. But my point being, you know, like a guy that can actually fuck you up, but humble enough not to. You really think it's Mayweather? I've watched Mayweather on them Boxing After Darks talk about, I'll knock your ass out. You know what I mean? I'm like, this nigga's a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so again, the Lord set the stage for the time that he's going to prepare for the earth for when you got your Jacob's trouble. Yeah. It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 30, starting at verse 4, and it reads, and these are the words of the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning he is, he exists, or he to be. By Hashem meaning in the name. Yahushai meaning he save, or he the deliverer, or he deliverer. The true names of the Most High God and His Son, who you ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. Said, and these are the words that the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. So that's the northern or the southern and the northern kingdom. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Yeah. And spiritually, you got individuals that can feel it and see it. You know what I mean? I see certain niggas, like that job I had, I was working at the heater spot, it was just a gang of niggas. And the funny part, I'll never forget, like one of the last big camps we had before, you know, I left, it was a nigga that worked at the job with me that came down to the lake. We did a study right down at the lake. I'll never forget. And the nigga that worked right with me was at the lake. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's just like little weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, you got certain niggas seeing certain shit, but a nigga ain't gonna see this. Ain't that about something? You see it, the world moving like this, and the devil might come down with great wrath, but you ain't seeing your only hope and option is to come back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. You think it nigga gonna turn into, you know, set it off, or you know what I mean, some movie type shit, like nigga, nah. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. That day of Jacob's trouble, shit. I mean, look at what's going on now. Now just imagine, meditate on the fact that when they turn out the lights, and you hearing screams in the dark, and motherfuckers kicking doors in, you know, and you hearing just gunshots or screams, you know what I mean? And again, I have no illusion to where the fuck I'm at. You know what I mean? I understand it's the Lord keeping these demons off of me. And I'm around some demons. I keep coming around demons. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my children up there telling me about how they having dreams about pretty much us being chased by a multitude of people. But I also see the Lord supping with my, you know what I mean, like with my daughter a little bit, and I'm like, damn, because it's like, wait, what's the word? Encouraging. You know, it made me smile. You know what I mean? Because the simple fact is, I've seen her have to call on the name. Verse 7. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So I don't know what that guy Bishop Nate is talking about. He's an elder, so I ain't gonna say guy. That elder, the bishop. Yeah. And like the elder Apostle Tahar was bringing out one of his lives today. He said, "You got to imagine." No, that was out of the they last camp. He's like, "You got to imagine, out of all the bad shit that done happened, this gonna be worse than what I mean, like all that." It says, "The last for that day is great, so that none is like it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." And who is the he? He represents the elect. The elect gonna be saved out of this Jacob's trouble. Because again, like the Lord pretty much allowed Esau Edom to put, this system together, which pretty much trapped and snared everybody. It's the book of Job. So like in Proverbs chapter 26, and starting at verse 22, the words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. And who is the biggest liar? Scriptures talk about in the book of John, I think it's 8:44. It talks about you are like your father, the devil, speaking lies. Who Gad called him a forked-tongued devil. Burning lips and a wicked heart or a wicked mind are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth disassemble with his lips and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. That's representing Esau Edom. I quoted Revelation chapter 12. It's a point I wanted, because at the end of the day, although this devil, like I said, he's using lies, and because that's one of his blessings as well. That forked tongue. You know what I mean? Think about it. He was able to, because that's like a sign, like that's like a enchantment to a degree. You nigga tell a bitch anything, and she just mesmerized because you dicked her down. You know what I mean? She believe in anything you say. And go for niggas too. And that's how Esau Edom pretty much done these nations. That's why the scriptures talk about the nations are mad. That's why you got these Edomites are bad. Everybody gonna be bad. That's why the scriptures talk about he shall be like the chased roe. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, roughly paraphrased. Which, when you go on that word wicked, it means the laborers. So, going into, Jake. Because Jake, the ones, that built this place up. Issachar, Ephraim, Judah, Bunyamya, So, like I said, Lord was with this man to create this system to test his elect. But this place is going to basically be destroyed. He's not going to completely finish this thing the way he wants it to. And it ultimately going to lead to his downfall. This is the book of Job, chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse 11. To set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. Verse 12, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. Back in Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 27, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth work of ruin. So this devil took the time to create this system, and but ultimately this system, him even doing any of this, is going to ultimately, basically he marked himself for judgment. And basically, when the elders break down the scriptures and go into pretty much like the Obadiah say, this man is going to be completely burnt up. Well, isn't that like a just reward or just punishment for a wicked ass devil like these people? Like the elder said, as much as this devil try to scramble and and pretty much make the narrative where we don't know what we talking about and Esau can be saved. Like, nah. If that's the case, if you believe that, then why the fuck do you break your neck to try to convince us of it? Because you don't really believe that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like how the elders sit back, like the elder said, we don't need him, he need us. If the elders are confident, just like the men that follow the elders are confident that we know that the Edomites are not done away with, that these so-called white people are the Edomites. So we don't break, like I said, we go out on the highways and hedges and whatever the spirit has us bring out, we bring out. But we not breaking our neck to try to defend, you know what I mean? Like we pretty much just breaking out the scriptures. This devil feels he got to go to every camp and pretty much, do this. And now that the elder came out with the whole law, I want to see what that devil do. So lock in for the, the running on. But if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, to the statutes, and to the commandments of your power. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Elohim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem. I want to say double honors to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribing to the truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, I'm able to come with another lesson. I say shalom, shalom. Kwame Yashala. Shalom.